A motion to go back in the regular meeting?
So
Make
moved.
the motion.
Second.
Okay, folks, welcome. You guys are doing a good job, Brady Bunch. Like to go now into personnel. Recommendation of the superintendent.
No.
Public.
Public.
No, we have to move to come back to open.
You just did.
I make a motion to come back in open.
Thank you.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
President Signorello, we did not receive any public participation.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now we'll go to the superintendent recommends that for personnel, administration leave. Number 1, and medical examination. 2, I'm, you know, yeah. Oh, I know, you should have stapled it for me. Thank you. Committee reports.
There you go.
Thank you. Thank you, Michelle. We have committee reports. So, Mr. Langang, we have anything for personnel? Anybody else have any committee reports?
Yes, I'd like to make a brief report on behalf of the Personnel Committee. First of all, welcome to all the teachers in the room. It's nice. We don't usually have this many attendants at a face-to-face board meeting, so this is kind of new. The committee did meet last week, and it was a spirited discussion. Lots of people sharing their strong opinions, and I'm really happy that there are so many names on the list of teachers and administrators being renewed and granted tenure. Like Superintendent said, that's a sign of a well-functioning district that, you know, we're hiring and teachers and administrators are doing their job and moving along and getting renewed and getting promoted. So thank you to our superintendent and business administrator for doing all these evaluations, for making these recommendations, and thanks to the rest of the committee for their input and to the rest of the board for paying attention and listening to the recommendations. That's my report.
Any other committee reports? So I'm just gonna, I'm sorry, did someone say something? Oh, that's myself echoing. So I just want to add, as the president, I think I'm gonna add to 1, maybe 2 ad hoc committees to help the administration. One challenge we're gonna have is a summer camp. If we can have it, if we're gonna have one at all, short one. I know we have some legalities right now. We can't open today. We can't open a summer camp if we could have one July 1st. So there's a whole gamut of things that we're gonna have to go over. I've had chats with the superintendent and Ms. Callis about this. Mr. Ranieri, I believe, has some plans. So I'm gonna get a committee together, and then either maybe Monday or Tuesday soon, we need to sit in a room or Zoom. Zoom. You like Zoom there, Mr. Harms?
No.
I'm sorry, all due respect, this works, but if we could somehow get together, I'd like to get together if it's 6 of us. Anyway, a summer camp, and then I know the administration is working hard on graduations. So if we need to have some input as board members, I think the board members should have some input. I know they have a hard challenge to make graduations. Again, the same thing could change daily or weekly from the governor. Other than that, I have nothing else on committees. Superintendent, you have a report for us?
Yes, I do, Mr. Signorello. Thank you very much. And, you know, I can't start my superintendent's reports with a big thank you once again to the administration, the teaching staff, the support staff, and our technology department, and facilities and custodial department for all the work that they have been doing. Every week, this crisis really humbles you, and the people that really go out there for us children, and the dedication that they have, and this certainly has done that to me. So once again, I know we have teachers out in the audience tonight, and the last meeting, and I'll do it again in the next meeting, give you a big thank you for all the work that you're doing. It's not easy what you're doing. We'll put in this position, and you've done an amazing job. So, once again, thank you so much. I think the most important information that I can share with you, most of you, if not all of you, know now that Governor Murphy has ordered the schools to be closed for the remainder of the school year, which means to June 30th. So that means that no programs, nothing can go on until the end of June. And I know Mr. Signorella mentioned the summer camp. We don't know what that's going to bring, and obviously things are changing every day, and the unknown is what really impacts us more than anything else. Not knowing how long this is going to be. But for now, we will continue. We have 5 weeks left in the school year. We continue to be resilient, continue to be strong, and we continue to provide the best that we can for our students, and we'll continue to do that. Graduations this past Friday, the DOE, the Department of Education, as well as the state, the lieutenant for the state troopers, both announced that there will be no in-person graduations. Graduations must be held virtually. They did scale back a little bit, and they are allowing now to have the way parades. So, all these things can certainly be something that we would look into. All of the principals, Mrs. Costa, Ms. Goyce, and our elementary principals are all working on a plan. As a matter of fact, I will be meeting with Mrs. Costa on Thursday to discuss the plan. I will share it with the board once things are final. But this plan includes, we want to respect our students' wishes. And obviously we need to be compliant with the orders of the governor, but we want to also be respectful to the students. They have been put in such a horrible situation with this crisis that, I feel every day for them, and I really do. It's really difficult. But we will take, consideration what they want to do, and we are going to put together a good experience for them. Okay, we're going to do the best that we can, and I know a lot of work is already being planned to do that. Our summer programs, and I just want to make sure that people understand the difference, not the summer camp. We have 2 summer programs that we run in the summer. One is ESY, it's the extended year program for a special education population, and one is the ESL program, which is a federally funded program. We are both planning to have both remotely at this point. Okay, I think it's the safest, the best way. They're both academic programs. The majority of the districts are doing the same thing. With ESY, that is mandated, that we have it, it's a mandated program. And we are working, the state has approved remote programs for the ESY. So we're working, Mrs. Mormello, Mr. Salvo are both working to make sure, again, we provide the best experience that we can for those students that are our most neediest students. Registration, I just want to make sure that everybody knows this. Registration, is going on. Please, and those parents, if you're out there, I know this is going to be videotaped and you may hear this, please go on the website and follow the instructions because we are registering students for kindergarten, pre-K, and so forth. We did have the lottery 3 weeks ago, and students were selected. I want to make sure that you know that you can register, okay? You can register your students via the website, okay? All the forms, everything will be taken care remotely. I will, and this is something that I mentioned at the last meeting, and I've been mentioning also with our administration, and I also when I update the staff as well. I'm going to put together, and this week I'm going to ask for volunteers and make selections. for a reopening committee. Now that we know that we're not going back this school year, we need to start planning what that reopening is going to look like. We still don't know whether it's going to be in September, November, January. My hope is the sooner the better, but obviously we cannot make any plans with safety being the number one concern. So there are four major areas that, I certainly want to explore and with the committee and move forward with that. And of course, we're going to need a lot of guidance from the State Department of Education as well. One is going to be the health, and that's number one. That's the number one priority. Social distancing, how's it going to look like? What, do the students, the governor even mentioned that masks may be something that, our students and staff may need to be wearing. We're going to need to also make sure the nurses are updated with, some type of log for symptomatic type of issues that come up, people who travel. There are a lot of issues that we're going to have to explore. Number two is, and this is my biggest concern, is the mental health of our students. When they do return, a lot of students, this isolation, this fear, and this unknown is placing a lot of our students in really in a difficult mental state. And we're going to need to make sure we have our counseling staff ready, and we have a social emotional program for when they return. Do they need support groups? Do they need grief counseling? Do they need post-traumatic stress counseling? All these things are going to need to be a focal point of our plan. And of course, academic. How far back did our students fall back? We're going to need to have an assessment tool, come September, October, November, where we're going to start with our new skills and how far and how long we're going to have to reinforce and review skills before we move forward. So, and then of course, number four is our finances. We're going to, this is going to be out of our control. I hear the governor say catastrophe when it comes to finances, looking for federal funding, and that's, but we don't know. We don't know. And, there should be no hysteria and no panic out there because, there's always a way, and we always find a way. And of course, we have to educate our students the most effective and efficient way that we can. They have the right to do that. So these are the four areas that we're going to look at. I will update the board. I will update the public as we move forward with a plan. Hopefully in 3-4 weeks, we have a more concrete dates that we have, that we may be returning. So it's going to be a task. It's going to be a very difficult task, but we'll do the best that we can, and we'll make sure that students are taken care of. The first and foremost is our students, and that comes across in everything that we do here. And I want to thank the teachers that were, in closing, that were part of the drive-through parades, and the parents who were out there, and the students that welcomed the teachers. It was wonderful. I drove before the parades, and I saw signs up in front of houses and students in the front lawn. It was amazing. And teachers really appreciate it, and our students appreciate it as well. So with that said, Mr. Signorella, President Signorella, thank you for the time. That's my report for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question about the reopening committee?
Sure, Mr. Langdon.
Is that an administration committee or a board committee or combination?
I want to put, and that's a good question. Obviously, I'm going to put it out to the staff first. I want to make sure that I have people from different departments. Number one, nurses for the health, counselors, curriculum personnel, teachers that are going to give us some. And I'm also going to open it up for board members as well, and even community members if we need to have that as well. We can't have too big of a committee because sometimes when you have too many, when you have too many, yes, exactly. When you have too many people, things get a little direct. Things get a little bit lost. And I learned that with my first strategic plan here. I think I had about 40 people, and boy, was there, people were going all over the place. So my second time around, you learn, and your group becomes a little smaller because you can get a lot more accomplished. But I would be very inclusive of different groups. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Guerrero.
Thank you, Mr. Signorella.
So now we move into personnel. One, administration leave of absence. Two, medical examination. I'm going 1, 2, 3, excuse me, thank you.
I'll make the motion.
I'm going by the numbers. Oh. Oh, why do I have two number 3s? Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Callis. All right, we're going to district policies, adoption.
Mhm.
5134, married, pregnant, and lactating pupils, thank you. And non-discriminating affirmative action. We have approval of the policy section. We make a motion, please.
Move it. I'll move it.
Second? Oh,
Second.
thank you. Okay, now we're going to personnel.
We
Actually,
need,
do we have
we
roll
need a
call?
vote.
Roll call.
Oh, I'm sorry,
On
roll
that.
call, please. Roll call, please.
Sorry, I was muted.
Yep.
Roll
Vice
call,
President
please.
Langang,
Yes.
Ms. Carlstrom,
Yes.
Ms. Falcon,
Yes.
Mr. Fernandez,
Yes.
Mr. Harms,
Yes.
Mr. Hemingway,
Yes.
Ms. McLeod Cato,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
and President Signorello.
Yes.
On roll call, motion carries.
Personnel.
Okay, now we're going to appointments of the personnel. Where's the, okay. Administration, leave of absence, medical examination, appointments, staff. I'm not going to read all the staff resignation, substitute of salaries, maternity leave of absence request. Do we have make a motion approval of the personnel section, please?
Make
So
the
moved.
motion.
Second.
Say it again, the first and second?
Sue Carlson
Falcon.
moved it. I second.
All right,
Marissa.
roll call, please.
Vice President Langang,
Yes.
Ms. Carlstrom,
Yes.
Ms. Falcon,
Yes.
Mr. Fernandez,
Yes.
Mr. Harms,
Yes.
Mr. Hemingway,
Yes.
Ms. McLeod Cato,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
President Signorello.
Yes,
On roll call, motion carries.
thank you. Now we go to education, 6 education programs, 7 NJSIA participation, 8 harassment, intimidation, bullying incidents. Standard field trips. We have approval of the education section, please.
I'll make a motion.
Second,
Second.
roll call, please.
Vice President Langang,
Yes.
Ms. Carlstrom,
Yes.
Ms. Falcon,
Yes.
Mr. Fernandez,
Yes.
Mr. Harms,
Yes.
Mr. Hemingway,
Yes.
Ms. McLeod Cato,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
President Signorello.
Yes,
On roll call, motion carries.
If I may, Mr. President, I wanted to ask a quick question on the education on number 9. There wasn't a, may I for a quick moment?
number 9.
Yeah, the field trips. If I mean, we're so those are all this. Are there going to be additional field trips to this being on the agenda in future dates? Hopefully, Mr. Brito.
Okay, yes, Mr. Miller, if there's a field trip that comes up in the middle of the year, the teacher, the staff we can approve it at that time. So, yeah, this may not be the entire list of field trips. These are our annual ones, so that's why we always put it. So it's a blanket type of approval, but yeah, others can come up.
Okay, so but if I just had a question on one for rationale or reason, I could find that at the board office or through you guys?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
And my vote is yes, pardon me on that. Sorry about that.
Okay,
To
thank you.
finish the roll call. Oh, no, we did do that. I'm sorry, forgive me.
Yeah. We're on to business. Don't confuse me. I'm confused enough, Mr. Miller. Okay, roll call. Excuse me. Yeah, okay. Monthly certification, number 10, approval of bills. Approval of the minutes. 13, use of facilities for 2020 to 21. 14, 2019 to 2020 food nutrition program contract.
I apologize. That should be 2020, 2021. It'll be
Okay.
corrected.
Duly noted. And 15, National School Lunch Program reimbursement. 16, 2020, 21 school lunch prices. 17, 2020, 21 to 2021 joint transportation agreement. And 18, employee insurance. And 19, district contracts for 2020 to 2021. Budget transfers is 20. Do we have make a motion on business
So
section?
moved.
I'll second.
Mr. Harms and Chad, roll call, please.
Vice President
Quick,
Langen.
can I comment on it? I have a quick question.
Yep.
Go ahead, Chad.
Is there a, Ms. Callis, is there an increase at all, or is it the same for the facilities fees?
They have not been changed since 2010. No increase.
Okay, my question was about number 17, the transportation agreement with Winfield Park. Is that
Yes.
a new agreement or a renewal of an older one?
Good question.
That is a new agreement. Basically, Winfield Park reached out to us to see if we would be willing to transport their small population of students to the magnets. Since it is on the way from Roselle Park, we have agreed to, or pending your vote, to enter into contract with Winfield Park so that we can transport their students to Union County VOTEC magnet schools.
So they'll be riding on the same bus together with our students, our magnet students?
Correct.
This was discussed earlier, a couple months ago, I believe, with the facilities committee.
Yeah.
Right, Mr. Harms?
Yes, it was.
It was with the finance committee.
I'm sorry.
And I wanted to comment on 17 as well too. It's new, and I just wanted to thank Mrs. Callis and Ms. Garrido. I mean, that's a good way to find extra streams of revenue that make sense and that are logistically, they work out logistically. So thank you, and we appreciate your endeavors doing that.
Any other questions? Take the roll call, please.
Vice President Langen,
Yes.
Ms. Carlstrom,
Yes.
Ms. Falcon,
Yes.
Mr. Fernandez,
Yes.
Mr. Harms,
Yes.
Mr. Hemingway,
Yes.
Ms. McLeod Cato,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
and President Signorello.
Yes.
On roll call, motion carries.
I will go to continuing business. Maybe continuing business. I just have one item about, I've asked Mrs. Carlson, the superintendent, that we can still continue legally to get the repairs of the track and the tennis courts, and she's been working on that. So other than that, we're still working to get that stuff done. I do believe that's allowed to get work done through what the state sanctions or what we're not allowed to do. Maybe we can get some good pricing now that some contractors are hungry. Other than that, because we've had some requests, some folks, even through the mayor and council, about opening up the, the track or the long track. And I don't think we're not allowed to still open that up yet. I know the parks have opened up, in the county parks, and the municipality hasn't opened up the parks. And I've had this chat with the superintendent. I think we should coincide. If the town opens up the park, maybe not this Saturday, next Saturday, maybe we should look to do it at the same time. But it's yet to be determined. Anybody else have continued business? Any new business?
I just have a question for the superintendent. Have there been provisions for the teachers to pick up personal items now that the schools are closed?
Yeah, that they have been, and we spoke with the administration yesterday. No one can enter the building other than essential workers. So right now, everything is on hold. That will be considered non-essential travel, and we checked on that. So right now, students belonging, they have to stay there. They have to wait. Teachers belongings, anything, we have to wait to at least after June 30th.
Got it.
Right now.
Anybody else have any new business? So the only thing I do want to say, I did enjoy some of the parades. I want to thank everybody for the signs who put this thought together. I know some other municipalities haven't, but the signs look really outstanding to see on the front lawns of the school children that are graduating. I guess me and Mr. Harms can have it's the statement, "We are Park." And Mr. Harms knows that Penn State has their "We are." So
That's right. We are Park.
We are. It's a really great thing to see. This is just me. It's know who the kids are, who's graduating. It's nice to see the old middle school blue, and then the park, whatever we are, Cardinal red or
Cardinal.
Cardinal.
Absolutely.
Who said that, Chad or Mr. Harms?
I did.
Oh, you can see Mr.
Can you see
Hemingway's
behind
backdrop.
Chad?
Huh?
Right behind Chad. He's got the colors.
So the signs are great. That was so good to see the initiative to get that done. And they're nice big signs. So other than that, everybody stay safe. Wash your hands. And, we'll try to talk about summer camp, if not, all the above. And I know the administration will try to do the best we could do to have graduations. And, I'll see that the board has some input, and somehow or another we could have a small part of it. All right. Anything else? So our next meeting is 2 weeks. Is the 26th?
Yes.
So unless the governor really does a whatever, it's going to be 99%. We'll be back as the Brady Bunch. So on that, everybody have a good night.
You too. I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, everyone.
Night.
Night.
Night. Thank you, teachers.
Night, John Boy.
Hey, everyone. Good night.
Good night, John Boy.